First of all, I want to thank you for watching our videos and being interested to learn. And second of all, I just want to second that by saying, yes, the technology is incredible. And I can't even imagine, like, when people tell me, like, my kid had diabetes before there was a CGM. Like, I am so thankful for all the advancements. But I also wanted to talk about why we are switching insulin pumps, because so many people are just curious to know what prompted us to do that. This story might be kind of a long one because I'm going to tell you my version and then I'm going to let Raylan tell you her version. Start with when we started looking into insulin pumps. I'm one of those people that does a ton of research and I look up all the pros and cons, and I research for months, anything. If I'm buying a new vacuum cleaner, I'm going to research it. So I was doing that a lot when we were trying to figure out insulin pumps. And I was between two for her, which was the Omnipod and the Tandem T-Slim at the time. I also have a lot of friends in the diabetic community. So I liked to ask people because I have friends that wear both and love both. And I think both are great systems, but I think that you really just have to find the system that works for you. They both have completely different algorithms. And I was like, okay, let's figure out which one we're going to try first. Knowing that she's a very active, at the time, she was 7. I was worried about the tubing. I was like, I don't know about this tubing. I knew that the Tandem Control IQ algorithm was very good. The technology really was top notch. And I was like, out of both systems, that's probably the one that I want her to be on. And then ultimately, two things pretty much made our decision to go with the Omnipod first. There's 2 routes when you're going with insulin pumps. So Tandem is DME, and then Omnipod is pharmaceutical. So with Tandem, you have to sign a contract with your insurance company. And I was really nervous about being locked into a contract if I didn't know if it would work. And with Omnipod, you didn't have to sign a contract. So if you were unhappy, you could get out of it at any time. So the thought in our mind was, okay, let's try the Omnipod first. If it doesn't work, then we can switch and we can go with something else. I think that's what we did. Also, she loved the idea of being tubeless. Some things that we love about the Omnipod, we love that it's tubeless. Love that she can jump right in the pool and hop right in the shower. When you're going to change your sites, everything comes in a little box together. Super easy to just throw in your purse to have an extra site on hand. At the time, it was not compatible with her iPhone. They're starting to roll those updates out now. It was not compatible with the Dexcom G7, so a little behind on those things. The convenience of it being tubeless is really nice. For her, it was annoying having to carry the extra PDM around. And as a mom, I had to put an Apple AirTag on that thing because she lost it multiple times, and that's how she gave herself insulin. So that caused a little bit of drama sometimes. So the fact that you can now do it from your iPhone would be super helpful. But that was definitely one of the times where I was like, sometimes I wish she had an insulin pump that was attached to her. Also, she would be somewhere and I would say, hey, did you dose yourself insulin? And she would say, well, no, because my Omnipod is in the car. And she'd be, on the softball field. And I'm like, go get it. So little things like that, but nothing that was like a huge deal. That's not why we switched. You read lots of comments about people complaining about leaky pods and stuff like that. That also wasn't an issue. We also didn't have a ton of them fall off except for in the summertime in the pool. She swims a lot, so we lose them every single weekend. The whole pod with all the insulin in the pool. No matter what we do, the over patches, the skin grip, all of it. And then, now she says after wearing the Moby and it's so little and you get to unclip and jump in the pool and it's like, it's like the size of a penny or something. She's like, I never realized how bulky that thing feels. Like she's excited for the freedom to be able to unclip and just jump in the pool and swim. Because get out of the pool, hook up, give yourself a bolus when you need it. She usually goes low when she's swimming, so she doesn't need much insulin during swimming anyway. So, that will be a nice option. But for us, within the last 6 months, the Omnipod just doesn't seem to be working for her. Like the algorithm can't figure her out. I'm constantly making changes. Her blood sugar stays high a lot. And then when it does finally come down, it comes down. Like she comes, kind of crashing down. It won't let me, it just won't let me customize it enough to kind of get her into a good range. And I feel like we had a lot better control. Her A1C was so much better when we were just on shots. So it had gone up quite a bit and I was getting very frustrated. I've been back and forth with her medical team and just feeling like we just are at a loss. So when we were at Friends for Life, I was, getting a little upset, and I had been over to the Omnipod reps a few times and asked for help. Like, hey, can you guys help me tweak her settings? Can I just talk to you guys for a minute? And, I didn't get a ton of support. They were very busy over there at their little booth thing. If you guys know my daughter, she tries something she likes. She is set in her ways, and you're not going to convince her otherwise. All of my friends knew that I had slowly just been mentioning to her, like, hey, I think it would be great for you to just start thinking about maybe trying another pump system, and she would be like, no. I'm like, okay. So, and it's her body. Like, I never want to force anything. It's her body. She wears it. So anyways, we were at the show, and long story short, we went over to the Tandem reps, and I was just looking at their stuff and asking questions. She was on their little photo booth having a good time with her brother and sister. And the first thing that immediately blew me away was the people that work for Tandem. It was a whole different feel. Everybody that worked for Tandem is immediately affected by diabetes. They are either living with diabetes, or they have a child with diabetes, or somebody that they love with diabetes. And they were answering all my questions. And, they were pulling out their cell phones and they were showing me, like, this is my son. He plays college, baseball. This is his pump. This is how he wears it. I had a lot of questions about the tubing. And Raylan walks over and she's listening and she's like, well, do they have like pink and purple cases or like, glittery patches? Like, she was just worried about, making it cute. And they were like, oh yeah, you can go over here and they have all kinds of stuff. And she immediately said, I want to try one on. And they were like, okay. She said, but I want my mom to try it on. And they said, okay, we can do that. And so the nicest lady took us and they, hooked us up with the little, the trial Moby, which just has saline in it. And Raylan got to put one on me. She got to inject the needle in me. And I was amazed that it didn't hurt. And if you guys have seen Raylan, you know that she struggles with sight changes. So that was so reassuring. And as a mom that doesn't have diabetes and has no idea what that feels like, to know that it didn't hurt me, it was so awesome to experience, like, wow, this is amazing. And that didn't hurt. So she was immediately sold. She got to wear it, sleep in it, swim, shower. It was awesome. So the long and short of it is I am really just hoping for better control, better numbers, better quality of life for her long-term health as a mom. I know that the tubing will be a little bit of adjustment because we've never had a pump with tubing, but honestly, everybody I talk to that has an insulin pump with tubing is like, it's no big deal. It literally does not get in the way. You are not even going to notice it. So I'm hoping that it's the same with her. And I just want to say a special thanks to Courtney, who works for Tandem. Courtney did not know who I was. And I didn't know who she was. She was actually in the session for Friends for Life where I spoke about what it's like to have a diabetic child as an athlete. And she heard my story, and she is the one that approached me and was like, hey, my son plays football. He wears the Tandem. If Raylan ever wants to try the Tandem, I think that she would really like it. Mom to mom, we had like a few conversations, and she answered all my questions. And her sweet son, Shiloh, came over and talked to Raylan and like showed Raylan his insulin pump and how he wears it when he plays football. And like, it's relationships like that and people that work for companies like that it matters, because it's a personal connection to diabetes. And I feel that it's so important, when people really care and they relate and they hear you. So I just feel like overall, so far, our experience with the company in general has just, sold me. So I am just very hopeful that we will love the Moby. I will keep you guys updated. As far as the T-Slim and the Moby, it is the same technology. The Moby is just smaller. And then it has the ability to go in the sleeve. So same technology, just smaller, and you use your phone to bolus. But we have our class today. We are so excited and we can't wait to go learn about it. And so we will keep you guys updated. But wish us luck. And then I'll do another video of Raylan's version of why she wants to switch to the Moby so that you can hear from a kid's perspective of what her opinion is and how she feels about the Moby.